29. Missed calls from my past family betrayal. Hard truth, and the peace they lost forever. My name is Sophia Bennett. I'm 32 years old. I live in Denver. And one morning, I woke up to 29 missed calls from Illinois. 29. That is not love. That is not concern. That is desperation with unlimited minutes. I stared at my phone so long my coffee went cold. And before I even played the voicemail, I knew exactly who it was. Because some memories do not fade. They wait. Quietly. Patiently. Like unpaid debt. And mine began when I was 12 years old. Standing alone in Union Station in Chicago. After my parents turned my fear into a joke. They left me there on purpose. They laughed. They made a bet about whether I could find my way home. That was their version of parenting. Some families go to Disney. Mine did live-action psychological warfare. To the neighbors, we looked perfect. Nice house. Nice stores. Nice smiles over the fence. My parents ran a successful home goods business in Willow Creek, Illinois. And from the outside, we looked respectable. Inside the house, respect was just better packaging for cruelty. Everything was a lesson. If I cried, I was weak. If I needed help, I was helpless. If I made a mistake, apparently it was time for another dramatic demonstration of how the real world works. When I was 8, my mom left me alone at the mall for hours because I asked for new sneakers. When I was 10, my parents left me in a stadium parking lot after sunset because I cried when kids mocked me. So by the time I got a B+ in art at 12, I should have known peace was not coming. Art was the one thing that made me feel alive. But when I got home, my mother looked at that report card like I had personally attacked the family bloodline. That night, I heard them laughing in the kitchen. The next morning, they were suddenly cheerful. That should have terrified me more than it did. They said we were taking a day trip to Chicago. My mother made pancakes. My father asked if I wanted orange juice. Looking back, that should have qualified as a weather alert. At Union Station, my mom pointed to a pillar and told me to wait there while they moved the car and grabbed lunch. 15 minutes, she said. Maybe 20. I asked if I could go with them. My father laughed so loud, people turned around. So I stayed. 15 minutes passed. Then 30. Then 45. Then an hour. Then panic started crawling up my throat. I had $9 in my pocket. No phone. No written address. No idea how to use the trains. Every face looked unfamiliar. Every announcement made my heart jump. Then I saw our car outside. I ran toward the window so fast I almost cried with relief. And there they were. My father driving. My mother in the passenger seat. Both looking right at me. My mother rolled down the window and yelled, "I bet $50 you can't even find your way home." Then they laughed and drove away. That was the moment I understood something children should never have to understand. My fear was not an accident. It was the point. I wandered that station for hours. Too scared to ask for help because the same people who abandoned me had spent years teaching me that asking for help made you weak. That is the sick genius of people like that. First, they break your trust. Then they punish you for not knowing who to trust. But that day, someone saw me. A station employee named Maria stopped me and asked if I was lost. I lied at first. I said I was waiting for my parents. Then she asked if I had eaten. That question broke me. I cried so hard I could barely breathe and told her everything. Maria did not mock me. She did not minimize it. She did not say, "I'm sure they meant well." No. She helped. Security got involved. Then transit police. They checked the cameras. They called my parents. And one officer said words I had never heard spoken about my life before. This is not a lesson in independence. It is child abandonment. When I heard that, something inside me went cold. Not because it sounded harsh. Because it fit. That night, I was placed with a foster family. Mark and Laura Bennett. They did not arrive in my life like movie heroes. They arrived like something much rarer. Safe people. He asked whether I wanted the hall light on or off. She asked if I wanted spaghetti or soup. Nobody laughed when I cried. Nobody turned my fear into entertainment. And let me tell you something. When you grow up around chaos, basic kindness feels illegal. Over time, the Bennetts became my real family. They did not demand trust. They earned it. Slowly. Gently. Repeatedly. They knocked before entering my room. They noticed what scared me. They gave me space to be a child and time to become whole. Eventually, they adopted me. Jennifer Caldwell became a ghost. Sophia Bennett became a life. And what a life it became. I studied art. I built a career in graphic design. I moved to Denver. I got married to a kind man named Alex. We adopted a rescue dog named Max. I built a peaceful life with real love in it. Which, honestly, is the funniest revenge of all. Because the people who tried to make me small accidentally trained me to build something beautiful without them. Then came the 29 missed calls. Not from my mother. Not from my father. From my younger sister, Hannah. She told me our mother had late-stage cancer. Our father had suffered a stroke. The family stores were gone. Their reputation had collapsed after people in town finally learned the truth about what they had done. And now, after 20 years of silence, they wanted me back. Of course they did. Nothing summons accountability like bankruptcy and bad health. Hannah told me she had recently learned the full truth from old court records after becoming a mother herself. She said once she read what happened, she cut contact too. She could not let people like that near her child. I believed her. But I also knew why my parents were reaching out. Not because they had changed. Not because they were brave enough to face the truth. Because they were alone. Scared. And out of options. So I went back. Not to save them. Not to comfort them. Not to reopen old wounds and call it healing. I went back to end it in my own voice. At the hospital, my mother cried before I even sat down. My father said they had made mistakes. Mistakes? Missing an exit is a mistake. Forgetting milk is a mistake. Leaving your 1-2-year-old daughter in a train station, laughing while she panics. And then lying about it for 20 years is not a mistake. That is a choice. I told them exactly that. I told them they turned my fear into a game. I told them games end. People find out. Children grow up. Truth catches up. Then my mother asked if I could forgive them. And here's the part people misunderstand. I did forgive them. Just not in the way weak people demand. I forgave them by refusing to carry them. I forgave them by not screaming. I forgave them by telling the truth, without becoming cruel. I forgave them by walking away without hatred and without obligation. Because forgiveness is not pretending the damage never happened. Forgiveness is refusing to let broken people keep renting space in your soul. I told them, you once bet on whether I could find my way home. I did. I just didn't come back to yours. Then I stood up and left. And on the flight home, I realized something the 1-2-year-old version of me could never have understood. I was never hard to love. They were just too weak to love anyone well. That is not the same thing. So if you were raised by people who called cruelty discipline, hear me clearly. Walking away is not bitterness. Refusing access is not revenge. And peace is not selfish. Sometimes the most generous thing you can do is forgive people from a distance so far away they can never hurt you again. Because real family does not laugh when you are scared. Real love does not test whether you can survive without it. And healing begins the moment you stop calling abuse a lesson and start calling it what it was. I lost 2 parents. But I found a life. And trust me, I won that trade.